You sit down to work, ready to begin, but a sudden, invisible weight presses against your chest, freezing your hands instantly. It is not just mental resistance. You notice that simple emails now feel like they physically weigh 50 pounds to lift. You quietly wonder why tasks that used to take effortless minutes now demand a level of energy you simply cannot summon. You notice you can scroll through your phone for hours without fatigue, yet 5 minutes of focused work feels utterly impossible. In the silence, a quiet fear whispers that you have permanently lost your drive, assuming this heaviness proves you are broken. This is not laziness, because if you were truly lazy, you would be enjoying the rest, but you are only anxious. This heaviness is not a character flaw. It is a loud biological signal that your system is currently unsure of its reward. Your brain is acting like a car refusing to drive, simply because it does not trust there is gas in the tank. You notice that you currently spend far more energy dreading the work than it would ever take to actually finish it. Your system has learned through repetition that effort leads only to drain, breaking the link between your work and your reward. You are carrying an invisible load of unprocessed stress, making every visible task feel twice as heavy as it actually is. When you try to force yourself forward, you notice a physical wall of resistance rising tight and heavy within your chest. It feels like you just need more discipline, but discipline cannot fix a broken fuel gauge or a system crying for safety. You are allowed to stop forcing the engine to run while the parking brake is still locked tight against the wheels. The goal right now is not to push harder against the weight, but to drastically lower the stakes of the first step. You often notice that once you actually begin, the heaviness lifts, proving the weight was only waiting at the threshold. The mechanical friction is always highest when the wheels are stopped, requiring the most energy just to create the first movement. You do not need a massive breakthrough today. You only need one tiny micro-agreement kept with yourself to signal safety. Rebuilding your lost self-trust is the only way to permanently lift the weight, far more effective than just forcing more effort. You are not broken or degenerating. You are simply caught in a low-trust cycle that your brain is trying to survive. You notice that bargaining for just 5 minutes often works, simply because it lowers the internal threat to a manageable level. The heaviness was never trying to ruin you. It was protecting your limited energy from being spent on unsafe, draining bets. Now you can treat the work just as a task, refusing to let it become a heavy test of your worth. It is perfectly okay to work slowly right now, allowing your internal trust to rebuild itself at its own natural pace. Your capacity for greatness is still there, waiting quietly underneath the fear for the moment it finally feels safe to emerge. The crushing heaviness begins to lift the moment your brain realizes the threat was never as real as the fear suggested. You stop fighting the resistance with force and start negotiating with it, offering safety instead of pressure to move forward. This is not the end of your ambition. It is a necessary recalibration to ensure you can last for the long haul. The weight finally drops when you stop carrying the judgment of it, leaving only the work itself, light and manageable. You are ready to start again, not because you have to, but because you finally feel safe enough to simply move.